Okay, when I got 100 subscribers on YouTube, you know, in the spirit of YouTube, since it's a really fun site and fun community, I went ahead and made a 100 sub special. You know, I know I'm not going to hit 1,000, so I did my special when I hit 100 subs, and I did it on my top 30 favorite cars of all time, since my channel is car related, so you know, it's only fitting I talk about cars. But I was surprised. People actually emailed me and left comments, and we got a little discussion going, and I made new friends, and I really enjoy talking to other car enthusiasts out there. I mean, one of my favorite things to do is just to go on autotrader.com just to look at cars. So I really enjoy talking about cars, and this list is an excuse for me to talk about cars again. So go ahead and read this real fast so you could get an idea of why I chose the cars that I chose for this list, and I'll be as diverse as possible. Feel free to leave comments if you like it, hate it, whatever. I don't take things so seriously. If you hate it, that's fine. Just give me a reason why you hate my list, or add cars you thought I missed. Maybe I'm not remembering some cars. But a brand new car, you can't really buy many new cars these days for 10 grand, but there's always specials like this, 2009, unsold Hyundai Accent for, right under 10 grand. It's a perfect car for, like, if you're a parent and you want to buy your kid their first car, or if you're a college student and you really don't care about cars, you just need to get from point A to point B. I got no complaints with the Hyundai Accent. But then you have some people out there who don't want a Hyundai Accent and they want something different or more exciting, and they don't got, 30 grand to spend on a car. And for someone like me, I don't want to spend 30 grand on a car. I want to buy a lot of different cars for like 10 grand or, something like that. Because if I bought a $30,000 car, that's all I would own. So I want to own different things. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to start off my list, and people are going to probably click off right away or leave a hate comment right now. And you're probably thinking, why the fuck do you have a Pontiac Aztec on your list, dude? Well, like I said, I like to talk about cars, and this is my excuse to talk about the Aztec. I always liked the Aztec. I thought it was ahead of its time. We got a little box movement going on right now. We got the Toyota or Scion XB, Kia Soul, and the Nissan Cube going, and this car was way ahead of its time. I would drive this over those three any day of the week. And I always predicted this car would have a cult following, and I think it's starting to develop a little following. So if you're someone like with a kind of an active lifestyle, like you like to carry a lot of equipment, your pets, your dogs, and go hiking, you want to be a little bit different, can't go wrong with the Aztec. I mean, look at that price, 4 grand. I mean, put $1,000 down, 48 months financing, this thing's going to be like $100 a month or less. I mean, I didn't do the math, but if you want to stand out, be an individual, you're not afraid of people saying your car sucks, get an Aztec. I wouldn't mind driving one, where someone would hand me one, because I don't got money lying around. But there you go, I got it out of my system. I got to talk about the Aztec. So let's go more traditional here. Other than a Hummer H1, the best off-road vehicle of all time is probably Jeep Wrangler. And I can't go wrong with that. So if you're into that off-roading lifestyle and you just want a stock vehicle, you really don't want to dump money in now, just go ahead and get a Wrangler. They do great stock, so if you want to get into that, you can't go wrong with the Jeep Wrangler. Now if you're not into being unique or going off-road and you just want to be like the bling bling man, like 50 Cent or Snoopy Doggy Dog, whatever the hell his name is, Escalade. Since big SUVs are not in anymore, the Escalade's affordable now. I personally like them. I'm not even into the Nelly and R. Kelly or whatever pop artists out there. I'm not into them, but I do like the Escalade. It's a very charismatic vehicle. Alright, now moving away from trucks and activity type vehicles, Pontiac Grand Prix GTP. The best car I have ever owned is my 98 Buick Regal GS, so I gotta give it up for the Grand Prix GTP. It doesn't have a big aftermarket, but it has a very complete aftermarket, and it's probably the cheapest car you could buy with the but a factory supercharger. So since I love my Regal so much, of course I got plugged the GTP. And going on that theme of, like, you know, those kind of sportier cars, let's go with the Hyundai Tiburon. You know, it's you know, the engine's not very exciting. It sounds good though, since it's a V6, but if you're not into speed and you just want a very stylish car, on the previous generation Tiburon, I mean, how many times have magazines or, you know, whatever, online publications or whatever, Top Gear, how many times have they said this car looks like the Ferrari 456? It does. Just look up the Ferrari 456 and just put them side by side. They look very similar. Nothing wrong with imitating a Ferrari, you know, when it comes to looks. A car I completely forgot about, and I was looking at like a used car magazine the other day, you know, used car for sale magazine. Then I saw the Chrysler Crossfire for like $8,000, and I went ahead and hopped on Auto Trader and see if it was a fluke, and yeah, they're like less than $10,000 now. It's another car like the Tiburon. It doesn't have the most exciting engine in the world, but if you don't care about that, I think it's a great looking car. It really stands out. This is one of the cars that makes me turn my head, you know, and I was really surprised it was like that cheap now. And it's a car I completely forgot about, but a car I always liked. You know, unfortunately this car gets the girly car reputation, but I've driven one and I think it's one of the best cars to drive. So if you're like, you know, if it doesn't bother you that it's a girly car or has a girly car rep, can't go wrong with the Miata. Or, you know, just drive it at night, or if the end of the world happens and you're like the last one left, then you could drive it all you want and you don't have to worry about people saying you got a girly car. But it handles like it's on rails. You know, everyone who says that, they're not lying to you. But if you're into like you know, a little more performance, WRXs have gone down in price too. You know, it's another great handling car. I believe I had it at like number 28 on my top 30 of all times list. And if you're into domestic cars, the Neon SRT4, you know, it's a comparable car to the WRX. So, you know, if you're into imports or domestics, you got a choice. So, you know, choices are good for everybody. Some people feel like WRXs and Neon's SRT4s are like not mature looking, kind of tacky. So thankfully you could choose a 350Z. You know, how great is that? You know, it's a more mature car, and you know, it's a great looking car. I just don't like the exhaust note, so I would pick a Mustang. Can't go wrong with the Mustang. It's an icon, and it sounds great. You know, classic V8 rumble. So I named all these cars, and you know, I wasn't trying to like rank them or anything, but I don't need a GTP since I already have a Buick Regal, and I don't need a Mustang. I already have a muscle car. So if I had $10,000, I would choose something different. And out of the cars I'm naming on this list, if I had $10,000 right now and I had to choose one car, I would choose the Mazda RX-8. I would choose it because, you know, it's spice of life is that the variety and all that. That's the spice of life, and I think it's really cool that the Mazda RX-8 redlines at like 9,000 RPM. So I think I would have a lot of fun driving the RX-8. A lot of people hate the styling. I personally like it. You know, I think it's a great looking car, and I think it's very sharp. So if I had $10,000 right now, I would pick the RX-8. So there you go. There's just a few cars that you could buy right now, that you could finance it. Dealers will finance them, even offer them warranties, so you don't have to worry about it breaking down and going broke. So there you go. We all got choices here. So if I missed anything, feel free to tell me. What else is like less than $10,000 that's 2003 or newer? Because the more choices we have, the better life is. You know, I don't want everyone driving the same thing as me. So I hope you enjoy the list. You know, leave your feedback.